One of the first steps of setting up Agent CRM as your new base of operations is getting your contact list into the system. Whether they're clients or leads, we need to bring them in so we can start organizing and maybe even messaging and running through some of the automations. The specific file type that we need is called a CSV file, or a comma separated value. We're going to walk through some of the steps and how to keep these contacts organized as you bring them into your system. Now, one thing I want to clarify or give point to here is that you may have different data points. You can see we've got a policy number, a city, a country. You may have additional fields, and we'll show a few extra tips on how to add that in your system in a moment. If you have a field or a sheet, a Google sheet like this, we want to make sure that we're simply finding the comma separated value, and we're just going to export that to a new file. That's a file format that the system reads really well. So let's jump back into the system here itself. Now, I will go to the import section, but there is one thing that we need to do first. We're going to dive over to automations. We need to make sure this is the first step that we do. We're going to zoom out here, and we're going to find by searching on the right-hand side, we're going to search assign. Now there should be a very specific automation called assign to user, and you need to modify it. That's why it's in draft. When we click on this, it brings us into the automation or workflow. Let's click on that. And what happens is every time a new contact is created, so we should add that tag or that trigger if it's not there. Click on add new trigger. Contact, let's say contact created. Save trigger. Every time a contact is created, we want to assign this person to ourselves. All of the text messages and emails that go out, they're going to be auto-filled with your name if and only if you've done this one setting. So this is super important. On the top right, we're going to publish it and hit save again. So anytime a contact comes in, which we're about to do, it's going to auto-assign to ensure that all messages moving forward have the right settings in place. If you have any trouble with this, please do join a quick fix call or reach out to our support team. So it's saved. I'm assigned. We're going to go now into importing itself. On the left-hand side under contacts, we're going to see on the top right, import. And this is pretty straightforward. I'll walk you through some of the things to be aware of, but you're essentially just going to import a contact list, follow the prompts, correct? We're going to click upload and bring in that file format. You can see here it recognizes only the CSV files, so we'll click on that together. And we want to create and update contacts. Now, if you've previously uploaded contacts and maybe you missed some data, where's this information? It didn't get brought in. You can re-import without having to start from scratch. You just refresh and update those contacts. But this is a great setting to have. We're going to click next on the bottom right. And then the first step that we're going to see here is that the system is going to try to guess what information should go where. It works 99% of the time right out of the box. It's going to know that looks like a first name. So James, Maria, and David, is this a first name? Great. It's going to go into the first name custom field. That's like a slot where data is held, a custom field. Is this a name, a last name? Correct. Awesome. These are email addresses. We have here pending. What does that mean? That means that the system doesn't exactly know where this data should be stored. We might not have a field for that to live in. So you can always search from the dropdown and try to find by typing policy field, but we will go in a moment to a step that we want to clarify. We may need to add extra fields or information. Now, here I have life policy number, but let's say it's not a life insurance one. Let's zoom out here together. What I like to do sometimes, I'm going to duplicate tab just so that I don't lose my progress. Under settings on the bottom left, settings, custom fields. This is where we can create new custom fields, or again, data points or placeholders. This is a little box where we store information. On the top right, I can add a new field and I can select from the options there. In this example, if it's a policy number, sometimes there might be letters, so let's just add single line. You can explore and work through the settings on the other ones as needed, but we want to say, policy number. We'll just make it really generic. And then we'll stick it for now under contact, because I like to be in the contact folder. Maybe it's easier. It's a folder of information. So we click save. And then let's go back here to the other section. We've now created a place for policy number to live. So let's hope I don't have to hit refresh. Let's hope it comes up right away. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to hit refresh because it did not log that addition was made. So let's just blitz through again. You get the idea. Boom, boom, next. And it says pending. This is where I say policy number. And you can see that new custom field has now appeared. And now it's been mapped. So all the rest looks good. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to review. Do I want to add them to a workflow? We can start off some messages right away. We can start off some administrative campaigns. If you're a new user, I would leave this off by default. You may want to add a tag right away. You can create a new tag like client list or something else, but please be aware if you are tagging them with a branding bundle tag and you haven't yet gone through the training, some of these tags can set off text messages. They can set off other actions. So make sure you've watched the automation or essential setup video so you understand what is going to be initiated when I do some of these branding bundle specific tags. For example, new lead campaign, that will start texting them right away. So we're going to leave that unchecked for this demo. And then we're going to click at the bottom. Yeah, these people, I have permission to message them. They want to hear from me. And then start bulk import. It's going to take a second here and we're going to go through some of the settings. Now, if you have any questions, you're uploading a larger list, you can go to bulk actions and it will give you a status report of those leads. But once you start to see those contacts filled in here, you can see all of them filled in. We can see when they were created, as well as additional fields that we're trying to look through. Some extra things that we can do are we can click here, contacts selected. Let's just select all 22. And we have extra shortcuts and actions you can explore above, which we'll also cover in future trainings. Another feature that we'll cover in future trainings is how to organize using what we call smart lists. Smart lists, as an example here for a simple one, is that if we can create, say, client list, we can create a new client list folder so that now we know this new import, this batch of imports, you could have done it on the import screen too, but we can start to organize them a little bit more intelligently. Keep them in folders, keep them separated so we know who is who. We can add advanced filters like what city. We can filter by city. We can filter by policy number or type. So explore some of the filters that you have by just typing. Maybe you have questions about what can be filtered. There is so much in here that you can use to create a really specific one. So part of your learning is just exploring and clicking around on the features or dropping in, of course, to our live support in order to help you turn those dials just the way that you need. We'll cover in future trainings how to use these features at an even more in-depth level, but you should by now be able to have your full list, either clients, leads, or both, imported into your system.